The Rookie of the Year race is the funnest to follow. A lot of people will say MVP, but most of the time, it's heavily influenced by team performance rather than just pure individual performance. Historically, taking home this award has been a huge indicator for success. Well, at least most of the time. There's a few outliers, which you're gonna see. So today, I thought we should go back and look at the last 10 winners and see what they're up to now. This is not a drill. The NBA season is tomorrow. We are going to be on the absolute grind, so trust me, you want to be subscribed. For the 75th NBA season, let's go for 75 likes on today's video, and let's get into this. For the first winner, we need to go back to 2012, where we had Kyrie Irving. He decided to attend at Duke, where he played just 11 games due to injury, but that was more than enough. It was very clear he was one of the most skilled talents we've ever seen coming into the draft. That season, he averaged 18 points and 4 assists, shooting 53% from the field and 46% from 3. That was good enough to become the consensus #1 overall pick in 2011 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Sometimes it's hard for young stars to get mainstream media attention when playing in smaller markets like Cleveland was at the time, but Kyrie didn't struggle with that one bit. His flashy dribbling and elite scoring ability made him one of the most fun players to watch, and he quickly became a fan favorite. As a rookie, he averaged 19 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds, shooting 47% from the field and 40% from 3. Absolutely incredible. And there was no question that he was the Rookie of the Year. Despite that class being loaded with future All-Stars like Klay Thompson, Kemba Walker, and Kawhi Leonard, the next best rookie that season was Brandon Knight, averaging 13 points, shooting 42% from the field. He would continue to have individual success without team success in Cleveland till LeBron came to town. Together they would bring home a title in 2016. But after just one more season, Kyrie cried that everyone only cared about LeBron, so he requested a trade that eventually landed him in Boston. He played 2 seasons there, and then ahead of the 2019 season, teamed up with Kevin Durant on the Nets. He's struggled to stay on the court so far in his 2 seasons, but when he's out there, he's looked better than ever, averaging 27, 6, and 5, shooting just 0.02% shy of 50, 40, 90. Now today, Kyrie's in the headlines, not for his play on the court, but his decision not to get the shot, which will most likely keep him off the court. A decision that's cost him tens of millions of dollars this season, and possibly hundreds down the road. The following year in 2013, we had another point guard win, Damian Lillard. He wasn't a big name going into that 2012 draft, mostly because he was a 4-year player at a smaller program in Weber State. There though, he was absolutely incredible. In his senior season, he put together an NBA-like stat line of 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists a game, shooting 47% from the field and 41% from 3 on over 7 attempts a game. That was good enough for him to be selected with the 6th overall pick by the Portland Trailblazers. Now, he wasn't close to the favorite coming in, as most of the conversation for the award was surrounding the #1 pick coming off an NCAA title, Anthony Davis, and Florida guard Bradley Beal. The race ended up being pretty close, with Davis coming in, averaging 14 points and 8 rebounds, showing what he could do as a defender. But it was Lillard's offensive production that would eventually give him the win. He averaged 19 points, 7 assists, and 3 rebounds, shooting 42% from the field and 37% from 3. Lillard would be a pretty similar player in the next 3 seasons, but from 2015 and on, he really stepped up to being one of the league's elite. Over the past couple seasons, he's really become one of the most productive scoring guards we've ever seen. He's averaged nearly 30 points, 8 assists, and 4 rebounds, shooting 46% from the field and 40% from 3 on over 10 attempts a game. He's in an interesting spot right now. To this point, he's been a career-long Trailblazer. Loyalty you love to see, but the lack of top-end team success for a player of his caliber eventually gets to you. There was a lot of rumors that he wanted out throughout the offseason. There was even a stretch of a couple weeks where it looked like there was a legit shot he was going to get traded before the start of the season, but he ended up putting that to rest. It really feels like this season is make or break for the Blazers if they have any hope of holding on to Lillard. Now we go to 2014, where we had Michael Carter-Williams. Now this is an interesting one. Carter-Williams was a 6'6" point guard coming out of Syracuse, whereas a sophomore averaged 12 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds, but shot just 39% from the field and 29% from 3. He would end up going with the 11th overall pick to the Philadelphia 76ers. During that time, the 76ers were trying to break the system by openly tanking like we had never seen before. This gave Carter-Williams the chance to play 35 minutes a game as a rookie. In that time, he averaged 17 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists, an impressive box score stat line, but when you play that much and get to shoot the ball 15 times a game, it's hard not to put up similar numbers. He shot just 40% from the field and 26% from 3, but luckily for him, there wasn't much competition for this award. Some other guys that were in the running that season were Victor Oladipo, who's averaging 14 points on terrible efficiency, and Trey Burke, who averaged 13 points, also on terrible efficiency. It became very clear very quickly that Carter Williams' stat line was extremely deceiving. The following year, he would go down to 38% from the field and 26% from 3. The Philadelphia 76ers decided to trade him at the deadline to the Milwaukee Bucks for a future first-round selection. His value would absolutely fall off a cliff. He played just one more season with Milwaukee, averaging 6 points a game. He then went to Chicago, then to Houston, and has spent the last 3 years in Orlando, averaging 7, 3, and 3, shooting 40% from the field and 27% from 3. Next up, we've got 2015, and this was none other than Andrew Wiggins. The hype for Wiggins coming out of high school and going to Kansas was insane. We truly hadn't seen anything like it since LeBron James. The media was making this kid out to be the next Kobe Bryant. I mean, even Kobe alluded to it. In his freshman season, it was solid. He averaged 17 points and 6 rebounds, shooting 45% from the field and 34% from 3. He looked like a great two-way wing that had a really strong mid-range and a back-to-the-basket game. It was definitely a conversation for the number 1 pick between him and Jabari Parker, who had just dominated at Duke, but ultimately, the Cleveland Cavaliers went with Wiggins. Soon after, LeBron made his decision to come back, so Wiggins was traded to the Timberwolves for a more win-now player in Kevin Love. In his rookie year, he averaged 17 points and 5 rebounds, shooting 44% from the field and 31% from 3. Nothing insane, but with the next best being Jabari Parker, who averaged 12 points, he easily won. Early on, the hype grew fast for Wiggins. By his 3rd season, he was averaging 24 points on solid efficiency. There was a lot of flaws in his game, but people gave him a lot of slack given the progress he had already made. The narrative surrounding Wiggins would change very quickly. The production would start to slip, so those concerns people had previously started to get really enhanced, especially given he had received a max extension. This ultimately led to him being sent to the Warriors during the 2020 deadline, really just due to his contract in that D'Angelo Russell trade, but things are turning around for Wiggins. It's really looking like maybe all he needed was a change of scenery. This past year, he averaged 19 points, shooting 48% from the field and 38% from 3. But most importantly, he's bought into his role and he's finally showing some of that defensive potential we saw coming into the draft. In this upcoming season, he really has the chance to be a part of something special with the Warriors, looking to make a title run with the return of Klay Thompson. Then in 2016, we had another Timberwolf win, Karl Anthony Towns. The 6'11" center decided to go to a stacked Kentucky team where he averaged just 10 points and 7 rebounds, shooting 57% from the field and not even taking a perimeter shot. But with how loaded that team was, there just wasn't an opportunity available to have any significant volume. So in that 2015 draft, production didn't play a big role in those Kentucky players' stock. Being praised for his upside, he would go with the 1st overall pick. As a rookie, it just didn't make sense how good he was so quickly. He averaged 18 points and 11 rebounds, shooting 54% from the field and 34% from 3. Now, there was definitely some other players in the conversation, such as Jahlil Okafor, who was also averaging 18 points a game, and Kristaps Porzingis, but Cat ultimately was able to edge them out. Since then, he's just been able to get better and better. He's now one of the best offensive bigs we've ever seen. He's coming off a season averaging 25 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists, shooting 49% from the field and 39% from 3, shooting over 6 attempts a game. I'm really excited to see what him and this Timberwolves team can do. They've got a core of D'Lo, Anthony Edwards, Malik Beasley, Jaden McDaniels, and Cat. It looks solid on paper. Hopefully, it can all come together for a surprising season. Next up is 2017, where he had Malcolm Brogdon. Brogdon was a 4-year player at Virginia, where as a senior averaged 18 points, shooting 46% from the field and 39% from 3. Being a 4-year player and not a crazy athlete, he would go in the 2nd round with the 36th pick by the Bucks. Now, in his rookie season, it wasn't anything special. It really might be the worst rookie of the year season we've ever seen. He averaged a whopping 10 points and 4 assists, shooting 46% from the field and 40% from 3. But there was just no competition. His closest competition was Dario Saric, who was averaging 13 points and 6 rebounds on pretty poor efficiency. Now, easily the best rookie that season was Joel Embiid. He was averaging 20 points, 8 rebounds, and almost 3 blocks, but played in just 31 games, which is why he wasn't able to win. But if we're being honest, the gap between him and the next best guy was just way too big, regardless of games played, that he got robbed. Now, Brogdon's gone on to have a great career. By his third season, he was already a 50-40-90 guy. He's coming off a season with the Pacers, averaging 21 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds, shooting 45% from the field and 39% from 3. Now we go to 2018, where we had one of the funnest races we've ever seen. Going into the year, it looked like it was going to be exciting, but it didn't have the same players we all thought. That 2017 draft featured some insane hype for guys like Lonzo Ball, Markelle Fultz, and Jason Tatum. But none of those guys were in the running. It was between the #1 pick from a year ago, Ben Simmons, who had missed his whole entire first season due to injury, and the 13th overall pick to the Jazz, Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell averaged 21 points, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds. Simmons averaged 16 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. It was close, but what made the race so fun was the debate on whether Simmons was truly a rookie. This debate has come up over and over again. It happened when Blake Griffin won the award. But what made this one a little different was that Mitchell was giving his 2 cents on the situation. He even wore a hoodie pregame with a definition of a rookie, but ultimately, his efforts to sway voters wasn't enough and Simmons eventually won. At this time, there was so much excitement for Simmons, given what he was doing so early on in his career, but as years have gone on, while we've seen him become a better and better defender, that's about the only progress we've seen. The long hoped for jump shot never came, and his confidence has just completely gone. In the 76ers' most recent playoff run, Simmons was so scared to shoot the ball, so scared of potentially going to the free throw line, so scared of the potential backlash that reportedly he tried to fake exposure to miss Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Imagine paying a max contract to a player that tries to get out of Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. I wouldn't touch that player with a 10-foot pole. The offseason was crazy for Ben Simmons. It started off with the 76ers acting like they're committed to Simmons, but they were really shopping him around. It ended with Ben Simmons demanding a trade, refusing to even meet with his teammates. But after the 76ers failed to find a deal and the preseason started, Simmons realized the checks weren't going to be coming in, so he decided to rejoin his team. Reportedly in the first few practices, he's been playing with the bench unit, and deservingly so. This is a weird situation, and I think it's far from done. Next up is 2019, where we had Luka Doncic. This was interesting, as he had come into the draft as legitimately the best form prospect we'd ever seen, and truly one of the best overall prospects we'd ever seen, but went severely underrated in the draft process, and fell all the way to the 3rd overall pick by the Mavericks. He made it very clear, very quickly, he was going to haunt the Kings and Suns for their draft night decisions. He averaged 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists a game. Now, towards the end of the year, Trae Young got into the conversation, but he just had way too much room to make up. The following season, Doncic would put together one of the best second seasons we've ever seen, averaging nearly a 29-point triple-double. This past season, he averaged 28 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds, shooting 48% from the field and 35% from 3. He's now going into his 4th season as the odds-on favorite in back-to-back seasons going into the year for the MVP award. He's on pace to go down as one of the greatest to ever do it. Then in 2020, we saw Morant. Morant was an awesome story. He had next to no offers coming out of high school. He eventually went to Murray State, where he had a solid freshman season, but then just exploded as a sophomore, averaging 25 points, 10 assists, and 6 rebounds, shooting 50% from the field and 36% from 3. He would shoot up the board like a rocket, and eventually went with the 2nd overall pick to the Grizzlies. It would have been a much different race if Zion was able to play more games, but with him missing a bunch of time, Morant just walked away with the award, averaging 18 points and 7 assists, shooting 48% from the field and 34% from 3. In his 2nd season this past year, he went up to 19 points, shooting with slightly worse efficiency, definitely not the jump we wanted to see, but hopefully this season, he can get back on track. Lastly, we've got our most recent winner, LaMelo Ball. LaMelo's career is so interesting, not just because of the family he's a part of, but while scouts had given up on him, while he was playing in Lithuania or in the JBA, fans weren't. This created so much excitement when he got back on the map at Spire and then went to the NBL. He would end up going with the 3rd overall pick to the Hornets and quickly showed that we were all right and he was the real deal. He averaged 16 points, 6 assists, and 6 rebounds, shooting 44% from the field and 35% from 3. Now, the race got close for a while as LaMelo missed a good chunk of the season, while guys like Edwards were still playing, averaging 19 points a game. But with just 51 games played, LaMelo was still able to secure victory. Now he's going into his 2nd season with tons of eyes on him and crazy expectations given the 2nd-year jumps we've seen recently from guys like Luka Doncic and Trae Young. And if we're being honest, I don't think LaMelo's going to disappoint. But that's the video, guys. You guys give me your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked the video, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.